Hello and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Kai Havertz and Chelsea has taken one gigantic step forward today. The clubs are very close, according to reports out of Germany, of coming to a mutual agreement on the fee and on the payment structure. The deal, according to reports from Germany, is absolutely imminent. Chelsea in recent days have upped their game. They have upped their approach. They want to get this deal done. They want it dusted. They want to then enable themselves to focus on the defensive issues that the clubs knows that they are facing. But Chelsea fans, I want your reaction to this. The StreamYard lines are open. Call us up right now. But Kai Havertz is going to be the next, for me, massive name in this Frank Lampard rejuvenation of Chelsea. Ziyech, Werner, Kai Havertz. I'm going to put Pulisic in that because I know he was signed before Frank Lampard, but he looks to be a massive part of things moving forward. He really does. Before we jump any further into this, hit the like button. Please hit the share button as well. And do me a big favor. Please join I'm posting the link right now in the comments section. Please join our Discord groups. We've got Chelsea, United, Liverpool, all separate chats, plus a big group chat over there as well. So join that if you want to keep up to date what's going on in the Football Terrace media community. We want to hear from all of you on that. But my days, a comment here says, I can forgive them for West Ham if this goes through soon. I think it's coming very soon. Of course, you're seeing as well the social media light up with the Jadon Sancho news. Remember who told you just a few days ago we're close to big news on this. That's coming a little bit later on the Football Terrace. We're going to delve into that during our Manchester United podcast, which is going to be around 7:30 to 8 p.m. tonight. So make sure you are tuning in for that. We cannot wait to hear from you. We really can't. But as I say, from my point of view, the Kai Havertz situation, we've seen Matt Law talk about this, and Chelsea are preparing to step up their pursuit of him. That came out yesterday. And then there's a few German tabloids that are spouting some bits and pieces around. In relation to this news, it stems from one of the leading sports consultancies who are heavily involved at the moment. So a lot of the sports consultancies are being dragged into these conversations at the moment because clubs that are selling are trying to increase the prices. Clubs that are buying are trying to lower the prices, and both are almost fighting on like different ends of the spectrum. They're looking at CV19 as we need to increase our incomes because we're losing money, but equally we've got to reduce our outgoings because we're losing money. So you've got both of them fighting, and what's happening is that independent consultancies are being drafted in. And I say independent; they're the biggest consultancy groups in the world. They're being drafted in to help. They're helping the agents and the intermediaries more so than anybody else to mediate the situation to try and create these happy mediums. And Chelsea, as I say, have made big jumps forward in trying to get this done. I think it's a matter. I think we're looking at a few days until we may see a breakthrough, unless at the 11th hour there is a big change of heart from Chelsea or a big change of heart from Leverkusen in any way. I think it's getting much closer. Let's delve into some of your live comments here today. Love your streams, Terry. You're a legend. I appreciate that, Gangly. I love the name there, Gangly. So there we go. Any news about any other clubs other than United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea? Not primarily. This channel, we focus on top 6 clubs, as in the traditional top 6. That's our business model. We will talk about other clubs when things arise, but only if it impacts the top 6. So yeah, not so much as it stands right now in relation to that. We're going to delve into some calls in a moment. Tomorrow there will be news for sure, is what Jez says. Maybe. Look, you got to remember, sometimes, let me just paint this picture. Sometimes it can be imminent. It can be close. It's about to happen. And then bang. Something out of nowhere just changes the direction of a situation. As an example, it could be someone coming in for Kai. It could be Chelsea finding out maybe a target they want even more is available. Anything can happen. But let's delve into this. We've got Ches on the line here. We're going to get onto the show. Ches, welcome back to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say, bro?
How you doing, Terry?
Good, mate.
I'm happy with Havertz, but obviously, as Chelsea fans, as we saw against West Ham, I'm even happier that apparently Emerson's been linked, according to Fabrizio Romano, to Inter, which means we're definitely getting a new left back. But also, that I'm very happy about that more than Havertz, for being honest. But obviously, Havertz is a top player, and I'd more than likely take him. because it would mean I think our midfield we haven't got any natural number 10s. Mount, he's more like a number 8. He presses. He's not really you saw the stats and you compared it and it kind of even, but he's not that kind of creative player. Whereas Havertz will give us that kind of edge, which I'm looking forward to. But obviously, Declan Rice will be linked to, and we're probably more likely to get a left back. So that's what I'm really excited for, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's one of these. I always say this to football fans as well, and this is my experience of. I've never been involved in the negotiating room when it comes to players. I've never claimed to, but I have been involved and been in and around the sort of situations in relation to the players coming in, and there is a priority list. There is we left back is our main priority, striker is second, midfield is third. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to land those deals in that order, because the team that your third choice position, but your midfielder is going to come from, they might be willing and ready to do the deal there and then. They might have financial difficulties and just want to get this deal done and finished. So they say, look, do you want Joe Bloggs? Yeah, we do. Can you put the bid in now? Then we're willing to accept it. Great. So actually, your third choice priority might end up coming in before your number one choice, because the club that your number one choice is at is sitting there dragging their ball.
Exactly. They're more on the forefront of it. Whereas let's say left back, Tagliafico, Terrace, they're like we negotiate after. So of course you're right. If we can get Havertz now, like it just makes logical sense, business sense to get your business done as early as possible, even if it's not your priority. It's still an important position. Get it done. If he's available and he wants to come, put in a 75 million bid in, see what happens.
Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. And that's where football fans need to sometimes relax a little bit, because they get sort of, how dare we go after an attacking midfielder when our priority is left back? Well, I look at it this way. Chelsea's priority at left back appears to be Ben Chilwell. You're not going to get any change out of Leicester right now, because they're fighting for top 4. They're not going to sit down with the top 4 rival and negotiate the style of Ben Chilwell, which...
And Luke Cadinho, apparently, from Everton. Man City and Chelsea, look at him.
Maybe you're looking at him, but Ben Chilwell is definitely one of them. So the point being is, let's say Ben Chilwell is your number one choice, and your number one position that fans want resolved is left back. Well, it isn't going to happen. It can't happen, because they're still in the middle of their season. So imagine if a club took this notion. Imagine if Chelsea went, well, we won't sign Kai Havertz because the fans want...
and wait for Chilwell.
And by the time Chilwell's done, which could take you all summer, right, because Leicester might be absolute cow sons, Kai Havertz signs for somebody else. He doesn't... Like, imagine having that logic and having that approach to business.
And then all the Chelsea fans will be like, oh, why didn't we do it early when we could?
Yeah, all of them. Exactly.
And it's just like, okay, so be patient. Like, it is what it is. Like, take it. You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. We've got David and Prime. We've added to the stream here, boys. Prime, first of all, with yourself, mate.
Yeah, it's my Chelsea fans.
Now, Kai Havertz, close to joining Chelsea. Getting a little bit of a tickle. Is your pickle getting a bit tickled with this news?
I mean, what will get me all the way there is a left back and a centre back. But yeah, it is. I'm happy. We need creativity in that midfield. Like what he was saying, our midfielders that we have, Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, Mount, they're not creative 10s. They're more like number 8s, essentially. So yeah, it's good getting Havertz in.
I agree. David, how about yourself? I mean, it feels like a long, drawn-out saga, but actually, when we have to look at this, it wasn't the transfer window, that 3-month break. You know, that break we had almost felt like the transfer window. Does that make sense? So I think some of these deals feel like they've been dragged out longer than they actually have. We were still in with a third of the season to go. So, you know, and you've still managed to pull 2 players in that point. But Kai Havertz, it still's looking more and more likely.
Yeah, we need him. After literally every game we watch, regardless of what our defense does, there's another consistent thing is no creativity of breaking down blocks, and that's the kind of player that we need, because regardless of what anyone says, he's more than a step above Barkley, more than a step above Mount, and so on. Just provides us with another option on how to break down teams, and that's the signing we want to do. That's the kind of signing we need if we want to go back to being top 4. I mean, to win the title.
It'll give us that clinical edge, especially if we cannot land a centre back and or a goalkeeper this summer. Next season, it can give us that. Sorry, yeah, it can give us that clinical edge next season, and just being able to get through games as quickly as possible without having to constantly rely on our defense to keep us in the game.
Yeah, it look, as a Man United fan looking at the news, it's scary. I look at it, and I've said before, Chelsea are worried for me. There's no doubt. And if they do address the back line, which I'm sure you will, it's just about being patient. It could be even scarier. You know, Chelsea suddenly coming back, looking solid, looking dangerous, as we've seen Chelsea in years gone by. And I think that's just something for me. As a Manchester United fan, I look at that, and it feels it's like a lump in the back of my throat, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. But I can't deny the quality of the player. I'm not going to... If Man United were signing Kai Havertz tomorrow, although I don't think we've got a space in our squad for him because we have superior players in Paul Pogba and, of course, the best attacking midfield player in the Premier League, Bruno Fernandes. He is. KDB, sit down. Sit down.
Terry, the only thing I say is about a player is I need that level of consistency over a period of like 2-3 years.
Have you seen how many goals and assists?
Wait, Terry, do you actually believe Bruno's better than KDB?
I'm not denying his quality. I'm not denying his quality. Let
me say this point. Who, one by one, I want you to say at the same time as soon as I ask this question, so no deliberating. When I say, who is the best player in the world?
Ronaldo.
Messi. I'll say Messi.
Okay, cool. So they're the best player in the world. If those players join the Premier League now, they become the Premier League's best players. They don't need to prove themselves here. They're the best players in the world. So they're the best.
But again, we said Ronaldo and Messi. We said Ronaldo and Messi. Messi's an alien and Ronaldo's a freak. Those two are not.
If I say, who's the best goalkeeper in the world?
Oblak.
So if he joins the Premier League, is he the best goalie in the world still?
Ter Stegen.
Yes.
Okay, Ter Stegen. If they join the league, they're the best in the world.
No, but our players
you can't. Sorry,
the players were calling out. The players were calling out.
The logic.
Look, I'm not denying how good Bruno. I'm not denying how good Bruno is.
Sorry.
I'm not denying how good Bruno is, but the players we're calling out are clearly the best in their position.
I think Bruno is. It's just an opinion.
That's fine.
Yeah, but opinions can still be
my
wrong.
My point is, I want to see it over.
Hang on. Over the last 2 years,
anyway,
you said 2 years. Over the last 2 years, no attacking midfielder in Europe, and I consider the European players to be the best in the world, have scored and created more goals than him collectively. So I put him top.
Has he done it at the highest level though?
He's doing it right now at the highest level.
No. I'm talking about the past 2 years.
I'm winding you all up. I'm really
try it with me.
You see the logic. You see how you can fall for logic, right?
I get it.
I think he's the best attacking midfielder in the world, which I do think he is. Then he's the best if he joins the Premier League. It doesn't matter who else has done what before.
Wait. Are you saying he currently is, or he will prove he is over the course of this next year?
He is, and then he'll prove it because he's going to carry on scoring and creating at the same rate that he is now in the Premier League. In about 18 months, you're all going to go, yeah, Teza was right. You know, I can just see.
So if you were offered Kevin De Bruyne tomorrow, you wouldn't take him.
If it meant Bruno had to leave, then no. If I could have both of them, of course I would. But I wouldn't get rid of Bruno for KDB.
To be honest, that's fair. I'm not gonna lie. If I would take Bruno at Chelsea because we need that creativity anyway. So yeah, I'm not gonna deny how good he is.
He's the guy. He's the boy. He's the man. He's what it is. Bruno Fernandes is gonna be for Man United what Chelsea fans thought Eden Hazard was. Do you get what I mean? Just elite, scoring all the time, creating all the time, and he's not gonna have a beer belly. You know, he's not going to...
We didn't expect Hazard to be scoring all the time.
Yeah.
What happens if he turns into a Michu, though? What if he's just like one season wonder? A Michu.
Can't be because of what he's already done in this already. It's like he's already past that level.
Terry, the only thing I say with Bruno and Pogba and how good they are creating and stuff, that it all relies on how good you're like Martial and Rashford and I guess Sancho are in terms of scoring goals and creating goals. Because if they're not putting away their chances, it's going to look... People are going to attack Pogba and Bruno, even though it's not going to be their fault. People will attack them.
I think for me, the bare minimum standard that I expect from an attacking midfielder is chances created and big chances created. And if they're putting them on the plate and we're not finishing them, I don't hold the players accountable in relation to, you know, if you get where I'm coming from. So I do get that. So from a statistical output, you have to sort of look at there have to be finishes there. I remember Pogba's first season and Zlatan scored 27 goals, but I remember he missed maybe 6 or 7 gilt-edged chances that Pogba created for him. And it just so happened that the other gilt-edged chances that he scored always seemed to be somebody other than Pogba creating it. So from a statistical standpoint, Pogba's assists weren't high, but his big chances created was massive. So you have to look at it both. Now, if you've got an agenda, you'll push on that. But yeah, as I said with Bruno Fernandes, I think if you add up his minutes, he's played 6 Premier League games and he already has 8 goal contributions. So I'm buzzing.
I wonder where Elite Opinions is, because apparently Mourinho came out and said that he wouldn't swap Lo Celso for Bruno.
Do you know? Listen, that's like one of these things, right? That's like a guy married 20 years. You know, his missus has put a few pounds on. She's got grey hair now. She doesn't bother dyeing it. You know, she's let herself go a bit. So's he, by the way, right? They've let themselves go because they're just comfortable. They're relaxed in life. Do you know what I mean? Too many takeaways, too many nights out. It's like him saying, if Michelle Keegan fell in love with me, or if Beyonce fell in love with me and wanted me, I just definitely wouldn't even think about it. I definitely wouldn't swap. Like, shut up. I mean, I'm not being funny. If Brad Pitt turned up at my house now, knocked on the door, came in and said to my missus, look, I'm in love with you. I'll take care of you forever. Come with me. I expect her at the very least to consider. I actually think she was crazy if she didn't consider it. Do you get what I mean? Bruno Fernandes wants to come to Tottenham, and Bruno Fernandes in this scenario is Michelle Keegan or Brad Pitt. There's no way that that's being turned down for what Jose already has. The grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence, but in this very case, it is like pristine, like, greens on golf courses like Augustus that are just immaculate. That's how green that grass is on the other side compared to what Jose's got. It's brown. There's holes in it. You know what I mean? There's
Tottenham right now. I don't know.
They're not even grass, bro. They're hay.
I don't know what's going on.
Hay, bro. They're hay.
Bad.
They're finished. They really, really are. But there we go. Let's see a few more. By the way, tonight about 7:30, we going live the United podcast. Big Jadon Sancho news. I've been talking about it for days now. Duncan Castles decides to go and copy me and be all like, oh, yeah, personal terms agreed. Something has happened and changed in the Man United Jadon Sancho situation, but I'm going to be bringing that to you about 7:30 this evening, so make sure you're tuning in.
Do you think...
Go on, mate, go on.
Sorry. Do you think it's the best thing for Sancho to come now or to wait until next season?
Now.
Okay.
I would, you know, if Sancho was of foreign descent, I would probably say stay. And the reason I say that isn't some weird xenophobic thing. It's the fact that Jadon Sancho was born and brought up here. He's not going to have a culture shock moving back to England and Manchester. I think maybe a 19, 20-year-old who's never lived away from home, barring traveling with these squads, never been out of his homeland. I can think, you look at Renato Sanchez as an example, that may be too young and it can happen. Having said that, Ronaldo left at 18 and was amazing. So there is, you can't, do you get where I'm coming from? I think Thierry Henry went to Italy too young. By the time he come to Arsenal, he was a little bit older, more grown up. So yeah, I think with Sancho being British, being English, and having lived in Manchester, he'll be moving home. Do you get what I mean? Like Paul Pogba. When Pogba came back, he was from Manchester. I know he grew up in France, but from 11, 12 years old, he lived in Manchester. It was where he had his adolescence. Like, Manchester's home for him as much as it is France. You know, I think he's almost lived out of France now for as long as he was ever in it. Do you get what I mean? So it's a little different for players like that, but we'll see. But gents, listen, I appreciate you all coming on. I've got to shoot. I've got a few bits of business to do. 7:30 tonight, though. We will be back. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.
Peace.